On 99.3 Talk FM, it's Bryan Houston's Sports Radio Live, your station for Dallas Cowboys football. Brought to you by Tyler Ford. Here's Bryan Houston.
Welcome back, 5 o'clock hour, happy hour. You made it through another day. We're one step closer to the weekend, which is, of course, all we live for.
Yes.
And we live for Cowboys games, too, like the one we'll see on Sunday night that means absolutely nothing, but we're sheep, and so we'll sit there and watch the game and pray and hope anyway.
But mathematically, we're still there. We're still in it, Bryan. Mathematically.
I sucked at math. I'm just
too.
throwing that out there.
I know.
I don't know how this next guy did in math, but I know he knows the Cowboys, and so we're going to bring him on now from the APEC VIP hotline. Cutting-edge training for the serious athlete, apecgo.com. Joining us right now from 1310 The Ticket in Dallas, Donovan Lewis. How you doing, Donnie?
Brian, I'm good, man. How are you?
I'm good. How were you in math?
Pretty good, actually.
Well, good. You see anything even remotely possible about this team making the playoffs?
It's a possibility.
I got a possibility of getting pregnant, too, right?
No, you have no possibility on that happening. I don't know math as well as I did in school, but I know that's a 0% chance that you'll get pregnant.
Well, that's kind of the same chance I see as the Cowboys making the playoffs, you know?
Yeah, no. You know what? If they keep playing like this, of course not. But they still have a chance. Only 2 games behind in the East with 5 to play. So there's always a chance.
You are the most positive guy on the planet, I'm telling you.
Sometimes when you've been dealing with this team for as long as I have, you have to find the positives in everything.
So find the positives in that game against the Redskins.
They didn't give up, and we're going to keep saying that for the next the last 2 weeks. We'll say it again this week. I just don't understand how this team can be as ill-prepared as it is at the beginning of games. I don't know what it is. I said on the post-game show, I don't know if it's coaching. I don't know if it's just execution. I have no idea. But that's something that they've got to make sure they get fixed. And I think a way you can fix that is by making sure you play to your strengths. And that's the Cowboys and I don't want to say a hurry-up because the Cowboys don't have a hurry-up offense. They do have a no-huddle. And I know that the defense is a little different when when they're ahead by 4 touchdowns, and they can play a little softer than usual. But the Cowboys really benefit, and they get a lot of yardage, and they move it up and down the field when they go with that no-huddle offense there in the second half and later in the games. If they do that at the beginning of the game, maybe that can set the tone a little bit and get a little something going, but they've got to do something differently at the beginning of these games because we talked about it the last 2 weeks. You can get away with it against Cleveland because they're a bad team. You can get away with it against Philadelphia because they're a bad team. But when you run up against a team that's playing well, if you start out slowly like they've been doing, it's going to come back and bite you in the butt. And that's exactly what happened Thanksgiving Day.
Man, they don't have much butt left, you know?
All right. A lot of butt with a lot of bite marks on it. That's another thing. Yeah. I just don't understand how that second quarter was something that Washington should put on there. You know how at the end of seasons where they have a season in review for even the sorry teams. The teams will win one game and they try to find something positive about that season to put in a season in review.
Right.
I'll tell you what. For 15 minutes, they should just play that second quarter for Washington season in review because that was a thing of beauty that they put out there against Dallas. And Dallas, we always talk about that dam. All of a sudden, you put your finger in that one hole, and there springs another leak. And then you put your other finger in that one, and there's another leak. And they just could not stop that train at all in that second quarter. And if you're a Washington fan, that was beautiful to watch, man.
Who do you put that on now? Was that because the offense didn't get their job done in the first quarter, or is that all Rob Ryan and the defense?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, both. I mean, that was a total, absolute team bombing. You know, we talk about team efforts when they win. Well, it was a team effort in the loss also because they couldn't get it done offensively. Defensively, they just looked lost out there, and RG3 just had his way big time. Now, a couple turnovers didn't help with the short field, but we've seen this team turn the ball over and this defense turn it on and hold the other team to field goals. See, that was the difference in Washington against Cleveland and the difference against Philadelphia. They gave up field goals instead of touchdowns, and they were able to climb back into it. But against Washington, they just gave up touchdown after touchdown after touchdown, And you just can't play from behind like that. You can't throw the ball 62 times, 50 times, and all that and expect to come out clean. That just doesn't happen, man.
No, it's pretty awful what's going on out there right now. Now, you've said it. You talked about whether they were prepared or not to begin the game. Mm-hmm. Jerry Jones now is starting to come out and say, that he was surprised by his team's 5-6 record, and he blames it on the lack of consistency as opposed to all the injuries. It's sounding to me more and more like he's seriously thinking about making a change after the season.
You think so?
What do you think?
I just think that there are always so many built-in excuses with these Cowboys teams. And the one thing that's going to get played up this year now, 5-6, the one thing that's going to get played up is, man, this team was really hurt. Look at all these injuries. How could they even do anything with these injuries? So it's not coaching. It's not anything else. It's injuries. So that's going to be an excuse to give Garrett another run at it. That's his boy. He brought him in, and if he considers Garrett a failure after 2.5 years, he's going to have to start looking at himself in the mirror to think that he's a failure because he brought him in thinking he can do the job.
I can get him that mirror.
but you know Jerry, and he's been around here since '89, and we all know that this is a stubborn dude. And if all signs point to him needing to make a change, he's not going to do it because guess what? He can. It's his team. He can do whatever he wants to. So if he wants to keep him around for another year, he'll do it. And I think that's what's going to happen. It's just going to be, and with us even talking earlier, you know what? They're still mathematically in the playoff race, and they are. So he's going to say, look, we were a play or two here, an injury or two away from maybe making the playoffs and making a run. Look what the Giants did last year. They won the Super Bowl, and they won only 9 games. We have the possibility to win 10. So you just don't know what's going to happen. So let's just give this thing another run to see what's up. And I can totally see that. I'm not saying it should happen.
Yeah. But
I can totally see Jerry giving Jason another year.
Do you think Jason should be brought back as a head coach?
Me personally, I don't think so. Okay. I just think that he's better equipped at being an offensive coordinator. I think they need someone that can oversee the entire team as a head coach. He keeps bringing in these head coaches. Wade Phillips had no idea what was going on offensively, but he's a defensive coordinator. It's about time that he has an offensive coordinator, a defensive coordinator, and a head coach. He needs someone to fit that bill. Now, if he thinks that's Jason Garrett, okay, bring in an offensive coordinator to take over the play calling so Jason can oversee the entire game, which I still don't think that that's his strong suit, Garrett. I think his strong suit is working with the quarterback and working with the offense and being an offensive coordinator and putting together a game plan and all that. I just don't think his time management, his knowledge of the overall game is strong enough for him to be a head coach.
Okay, the other thing that Jerry said here in the last day or two was that not only does he expect to see his team play hard because they still have that slim chance of making the playoffs, but he also wants to evaluate their core players. And my response to that is, let me save you some time. They stink.
He needs, the one thing he shouldn't worry about the core players. He shouldn't worry about that.
There's only about 4 of those guys, right?
Thank you. And those guys are fine. You don't worry about them. What he should worry about, and where this team is why it's in the state it is in right now, are the fringe players, the guys that's going to come in for depth, because they suck. They're the ones that suck, because the drafts around here have been horrible. The free agent signings around here have been really bad. And those are the guys you have to count on to help those core players out and winning football games and making playoff runs. Now, DeMarcus Ware, Romo, Ratliff, I will even put Dez in that category. You don't have to worry about them. You know what you're going to get with them because they are what they are. It's those other guys that you miss in the draft, keep missing in the draft. And look at this draft class that they have right now. Claiborne is it. That's it.
Well, the rest of them are all on injured reserve.
I know. You have Crawford that's in there for a few plays. You have Wilbur that played a few plays, but everyone else, they're not even on the field. So if you keep missing on drafts and missing on drafts and missing on drafts, you got to count on this free agent pickups and everyone else to come in and do a little bit. And they've been bad also. The two guards haven't been good. And Connor, he's been okay, but he's not, what you expect. You were hoping that he would be a guy that just plays special teams and to become a fringe guy. Now the dude is your starter, and he has to go out there and make plays. Now, are you happy about that?
No. I mean, they're so beat up and decimated now. I mean, they barely have enough of a squad to make it look like week 4 of the preseason.
Right, I know, and they keep bringing these guys who are out of work and on the street and coming in, and they're going to have to play significant roles, not be a guy to come in and play special teams or a play or two here. They're going to come in and do a little something. Your starting inside linebackers next Sunday night might be Connor and Ernie Sims.
Wow.
And it's like, good gosh, man. Ernie Sims was just sitting around eating Twinkies and watching television when they called him up. He wasn't doing a thing. So, yeah, injuries are a part of this thing, but this thing was broken way before all these injuries hit. It's almost like it's because the Cowboys have had so much good luck with injuries the last few years. It's almost like you would like for all this stuff to happen when it is happening now, when this season is almost lost. So you can go ahead and get them over with and bring everybody back healthy and try to piece something together out of this thing. They've got to do better in all, and I don't want to sound like Garrett here, but all phases, and I'm not even talking about defense, offense, and special teams. I'm talking about free agent pickups and the draft and all that other stuff. They've got to get better at that if they want to make this team better.
But see, the thing that worries me about it is, and this is why I'm very torn, and, I'm a Cowboy fan, grew up a Cowboy fan, and so sure, I'd like to see my team win, but at the same time, every time this happens, Jerry gets delusional and starts thinking, man, we're just 1 or 2 players away from making this thing happen. And this team, so it's almost like I hope this team crashes and burns, because then there's no way you can deny that it is an awful football team put together ineptly, coached poorly. There can be no confusion about where you are. You are, as Bill Parcells says, what your record says you are.
No doubt.
And then maybe Jerry gets it like he did when he hired Parcells, when it got so bad that there was no other choice. And that's what I keep hoping will happen this time around. It gets so bad that Jerry has no choice but to hand it over to somebody that knows what they're doing to get this thing back on track.
You can keep hoping for that.
Well, I know.
I don't know if that's going to happen, even if they crash and burn this season. I just don't think that that's going to... I mean, Jerry, he will tell you that the way he's been running this team has worked. Why? Because they have 3 Super Bowl trophies in that trophy case by the way he's been running his team.
I've had 5 colonoscopies since then, okay?
There you go. I know, and I'm right there with you.
And I'm getting ready for another one just because I like it so much, I mean, good Lord, it's brutal.
It's just the mediocrity around here is it's laughable, man. And you kind of sit back, and when the Cowboys were the bullies of the NFL, you just sit back and point and you laugh at those other teams that were mediocre, and they're them, and we're the Cowboys. But now that's who this team is. I can remember when everyone was looking at the schedule, and they said, "Oh, you know what? That's a soft part of the schedule because they have Cleveland and Philadelphia and Washington on it." And I always don't you think Cleveland and Philadelphia and Washington are rubbing their hands together saying, okay, look, good, we have the Cowboys this week. This is the soft part of our schedule. Now, everyone's happy because Philadelphia is a broken team, and they are broken. And they're coming into Cowboy Stadium Sunday night. But you don't think Philadelphia is sitting up there and saying, woo, you know what, we got a chance to right this ship. Why? Because we're playing Dallas.
That's right.
And they're a broken team also. So you can't get up there and sit on your high horse thinking everything is A-OK because you have Philadelphia coming to town. They're thinking the same thing, and they suck. And they're thinking the same thing about Dallas.
Okay, now, let's talk about this. We talked about there's no way Jerry's going to do what we think he ought to do. Mm-hmm. All right? What happens if they get their clock cleaned this weekend by Philadelphia?
Man, I don't know. You always think that it's going to be the one game where the light bulb goes off over Jerry's head, and this would have to be it if a really, really broken Philadelphia team rolls into Cowboy Stadium and it's 28-3 at halftime. You would think that all hell would just break loose if that happens. But you can't count on anything with Jerry. When has he ever done anything that you thought he was supposed to do? It took him forever to fire, I thought, Campo when Campo was here. Now, you know what? There were no expectations with that team. I get that. But Wade, everyone thought Wade should have been fired 5-6 weeks ago, and it took that massacre in Green Bay to finally get him to pull the trigger on that. Now, would that be that one game against Philadelphia? I don't think so, because I'm telling you, man, it's almost that whole fool's gold thing when they get down against Cleveland, come back and win. They get down against Philadelphia, they come back and win. Then they get down against Washington, but they come back and make it a game. I'm telling you, that will cloud judgment with Jerry, saying, look, we are not that far away. Even though we're getting down and we're playing poorly, we're not that far away because we're scratching and we're clawing back. And look at these results. You look at the paper, they lose a game by 5, and they lose a game by 7, and they lose close games, and you're thinking, man, maybe we're 1 or 2 players away from making this thing happen. And you saw it this past year with the draft. They needed players. But Jerry thought he was one really good defensive player away from making some noise, so he trades off the future to go get Claiborne. Now, I'm not ragging him. He's a really good player. He's going to be a good player for a long time. But you need picks. You need bodies. You need guys with talent to come in and do some things. You don't need the splash play because you're not one. Teams that are one player away, they'll trade. Look at Atlanta. Sure. Atlanta needed Julio Jones. They traded the future because they were one player away and they've been playing well. You're not if you're Dallas. You need bodies. You need first rounders. You need second rounders. You need third rounders to come in and produce. Now, do we trust them to pick the right people?
No.
Not really.
No.
But at least you have the opportunity to do something, right?
Good night. Well, you know, that's the thing about it. I mean, they've got to hit, in the situation they're in, they have to hit a home run on every draft pick now. And
they have been swinging and missing for the last 10 years. Just look at this draft.
Oh, it's brutal.
You take Claiborne out the way, your most productive person out of this draft class is Cole Beasley. You didn't even draft him as a free agent pickup. That's how bad it is. So that means the second rounder that you traded away, your third, fourth, fifth, sixth, all those guys aren't doing a thing. The bad teams can't get away with that. Good teams can. San Francisco can get away with something like that if their first or second rounders aren't producing because they're loaded. The Cowboys aren't loaded. They can't get away with it. So it just starts from top to bottom. It's just raggedy all the way around, man.
Boy, raggedy is right. Well, did you enjoy your Thanksgiving?
I did. Had a really good time. How about you?
I was good. I mean, I didn't let it spoil my appetite. I ate before the game.
There you go.
And then ate again after the game.
There you go. I was about to say, it didn't spoil my appetite. I don't think anything will spoil my appetite. So.
Amen, buddy.
Yeah.
Hey, Donovan, good talking to you, man.
You too, man. They got to make it happen Sunday, man. They have to. This thing is in trouble.
I can't wait to listen to your post game, buddy, because if they don't make it happen, I'm going to be sitting up till 3 in the morning listening to you guys.
There you go. We'll be there. I'll tell you that much.
I'm sure you will. All right, man. Thanks a lot.
Have a good one.
All right, Donovan Lewis from 1310 The Ticket on Bryan Houston Sports Radio Live.